It started out small, just a little patch above my left pinky. You know how in your knuckles you can kind of move and squish the skin? It was like that, but more. I could pull that little patch of skin several inches suddenly. It didn't hurt or anything. It actually felt kind of good. Soothing almost. Anytime I got stressed, I would find my fingers running over the loose, stretchy skin, playing with it, folding it, and molding it to my heart's content. Then, one morning, it happened. I was getting ready for work, you see. I was pulling on my socks when I felt a weird shift in my foot. Confused, I pulled my sock down only for my heart to skip a beat. The skin that had once hung from the bottom of my foot now sagged loosely. I did the only thing I could think to do and reached my hand down to touch it. Chills would shoot through my spine. The feeling was unreal. I grabbed onto the loose skin and began tugging at it, pulling it up close to my calves. I cried out in pain and joy. God, I wanted more. The next few days I stayed held up in my home, calling out of work. No friends, nothing. Nothing mattered except the exquisite joy of my skin clinging loosely to my body. Some parts would dangle on their own, some I pulled loose. Those were the ones that I always preferred. It felt more exciting. Intimate even. I felt more limber and full of energy than ever. I could reach parts of my body that I'd never been able to touch. Even if I couldn't reach it at first, I would just begin pulling at the nearby flesh. Pulling, yanking. Finally, after several minutes, it would release and send orgasmic bolts through my body. God, I truly wish I could explain how it feels during the release. Eventually, though, my worst fears came true. I had nothing left to pull off. I was disfigured and horrifying. My skin hung limply from my skeleton. My face was a disgusting mess of flesh drooping several inches from where it once was. I couldn't express myself or talk. Everything was just loose and flopping everywhere. That didn't matter, though. I didn't care about any of that. All that mattered was finding a way to feel the release again. I needed the pleasure again. I began pulling at every single inch on my body, trying to find anything, a piece that hadn't been released yet, a spot I had somehow missed, but nothing, no avail. I couldn't find it. I kept pulling, trying anything I could, and suddenly, out of nowhere, I felt that icy prick shoot through my body. Not like it was before, though. Different. Deeper. Even better than ever. Upon investigation, I found the source of this pleasure. It was a tear. A rip in my own flesh. No blood came out, though. It was just an open hole where my skin had once been solid. I stared at it. It stared back. And then I pulled again, ripping it open just a little bit further. I nearly passed out from the pleasure I felt. This was it. This was what I'd been searching for this whole time. Tugging, pulling, folding, stretching, tugging, pulling, folding, stretching. I began to work at the hole. The feeling was divine as it grew from only a few centimeters to a few inches and further. Eventually, it began to resemble more of a creature's maw as I worked my fingers deep inside, tearing away at the flesh. I moaned louder and louder as I felt my body give out under the waves of pleasure. I still needed more, though. I needed to keep pulling and tearing and ripping deeper and deeper and deeper into the soft pink flesh that was once so tight against me. There I sat, destroying my skin, picking at it, ripping it, and seeing everything I could pull out of it. Hours passed, maybe days. Eventually, I had ripped the last few bits off of my face. My once tight flesh laid in ribbons at my feet, and I felt so alone now. My raw, red muscle twitching against the cold air. Pain would shoot through my feet as my nerves stepped over my shredded body parts and hit the hardwood floor again and again. I stared in the mirror in disbelief at the horror that I had become. I was unrecognizable. Just raw meat in the shape of a human being. What was I supposed to do? I did the only thing I could actually think to. I reached up and I began to pull at my face, digging my fingers deep into the red muscle. Lovely.